Ignore the changes to my shelves behind me. You'll get a video on that shortly. Hello everybody, my name is Danny and welcome back to my channel. Welcome to my November wrap-up and December Skee-B-R. It feels so weird to be saying that. There's no way we're heading into the last month of the year. This year has flown by. As always, I'm first going to be going through all of the books that I have read in November and then going to pick the books that I will be reading in December. So I'm actually filming this quite a bit early. It's only the 21st, but I figured, let me get ahead on videos for once. It's not really going to affect anything because, spoiler alert, I did read all of my Skee-B-R picks. So let's just get into it, why don't we? The first book that I picked up was The Murder Farm by Andrea Maria Schenkel, and I gave this a 6 out of 10. True crime isn't really my thing. I didn't realize that I knew the, case that inspired this book until I was reading it. I'm like, hold up, this sounds so familiar. And then I, looked it up and I'm like, wow, okay, it's something that I had heard of before. It's a very quick read. I got through it in, a day. I had a good time. It just wasn't something that I would naturally gravitate towards, so that's why it's only a 6 out of 10. It's not my favorite thing, but I still had a pretty good time reading it. Then I picked up The Ocean at the End of the Lane by Neil Gaiman. I didn't actually read this copy of it. I read my copy, but it's at the bottom of this stack of Neil Gaiman books over here, and I didn't feel like getting it out, so I just took this one right off the top of the pile. This is my boyfriend's copy. Much easier to get to. It's the same book, so it's fine. It's just a different edition. But yes, I give this a 9 out of 10. This was a reread. I read it about 2 years ago, I want to say, and I really enjoy it. I love Neil Gaiman. He's one of my favorite authors. I don't really have much more to say beyond that because this is just very classic Neil Gaiman to me. After that, I finished reading Dracula. So I have been reading this book since I want to say April because I had signed up to receive the emails for Dracula Daily. If you didn't know, it is a project created by this guy Matt Kirkland, I think was the name, where he took all of the letters and journal entries that made up Dracula and he put them in chronological order, and then if you signed up for it, you got an email whenever one of those things had the date of that day. You'd get an email on that day, and that's why it took from April to November to get through all of them, because that's the timeline of the book. But it was so good. I found this way more enjoyable than I probably would have just reading it normally, and I had a good time. I would love to see something like this for other books. I'm not sure what would work. Maybe Frankenstein, because Frankenstein is kind of epistolary. It's one giant letter. I don't know. It's a very fun way to approach classics, I feel. Then I read Manga in Theory and Practice by Hirohiko Araki, and I gave this an 8 out of 10. I found it super fascinating, even though I don't create manga, and I'm probably not going to create manga. I found it very helpful as a craft book. It definitely feels more beginner than someone like me who's been writing for years and years, but I still thought it was very well written, very easily digestible, and at the end of the day, I think my biggest takeaway is that I might want to start watching JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, which is the most popular manga by this manga creator, so that's new. Then I picked up the first 5 volumes of Whisper Me a Love Song. This is a sapphic kind of slice of life romance manga about 2 high school girls, and I thought it was really cute, really fun. There is only the 5 volumes out right now, so that's why I only read those 5. But I think after a few more volumes have come out, I would like to read more, so I'm looking forward to that. After that, I read Kindred by Octavia E. Butler, and I gave this a 10 out of 10. One of my favorite reads of this year. It was so good. I started reading this and I was instantly hooked. It was fantastic. I definitely want to try out more of her books in the future, but I'm not sure if I'm going to like them more than I like this one, because this one just completely blew me away. It was so good. Next is When Did You See Her Last by Lemony Snicket. This is the second book in his All the Wrong Questions series, and I really enjoyed this. I gave it a 9 out of 10. Lemony Snicket is one of my favorite authors. I love his unique writing style so much and just the weirdness of his stories, and I'm now halfway through this series because there's only 4 books, and I want to get my hands on the other 2 to finish it off because this is just so entertaining. Then I picked up There by Tommy Orange for my biannual reread, biannual meaning every other year, not twice a year, and I love this book. Give it a 10 out of 10. It's a fantastic read. It's one that I read semi-often. This is my 3rd time reading it, and I feel like every time I read it, I get more out of it, so definitely looking forward to 2024 when I pick this up again. After that, I picked up a super anticipated book, and that was Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson. This gets a 10 out of 10. It was so good. I literally read it in 4 days, and this thing is chunky. It's like 650-ish pages, and I just zoomed through it. And then I immediately picked up The Well of Ascension, which is book 2. I'm not as far into it. I just started it yesterday. I am 120-ish pages in, but I'm so looking forward to reading this and then reading The Hero of Ages. I am binging all 3 of those in a row. I can't wait. I'm so looking forward to it. This is such a fantastic series already, and I feel like Brandon Sanderson is one of my favorite authors now, even though I just started reading his stuff. And those were all of the books that I read in November, so without any further ado, we can get on to rolling for December's reads. I do have some books that I would like to get on there, namely the books that are for my readathon TBR. So I am hosting a readathon right now that was all of November and all of December, and I've read some books for it already. I still have some more to read. I'm hoping I can fit those into these rolls, so let's find out. Alright friends, let's kick things off with our first roll. That is in the 20-point spot, so it's an aesthetic prompt. Okay friends, so for the first roll, we got in the 20-point spot, which resulted in an aesthetic prompt. So I've got my green bin here, I'm gonna shake it up, and our aesthetic prompt is a minimalist cover. I'm gonna take a look at all of the books that I want to read and hope that one of them fits this. Okay, so this might not be like a traditionally minimalist cover, but I'm gonna go with The Dante Club by Matthew Pearl. I'm considering this minimalist because it's really just this like sepia tone photograph with the like font over the top and then like a couple of blood splatters. It's definitely not a whole lot going on compared to some other books that have so many things on the cover. So it's not like very minimalist, but I'm allowed to bend the rules, and I'm picking this book because it's on my 9 Eyes TBR, and so I would have had to read it anyway. So now it's the first one on my Skee-B-R TBR for December. And now we come to our second roll of the month. It's in the 20-point spot, so that one is a friend pick. Okay, and our second roll resulted in another 20-point spot, so this time around it's a friend pick. So I've got my D4 here, I'm using my pink one this time around. We're gonna roll it, and that is, if you can see it, probably not, a 2. So that means one of my sisters gets to pick. So I will send them a selection of books and have them pick from that for my second book to be on this TBR, and then I'll just put the clip in of whatever one they pick for me. Okay, there's like some sort of construction or something that has started outside, and I will try to film around it, but it's like stopping and then starting and stopping and starting so often that I'm just gonna ignore it and keep filming to the best of my ability. So, of course, now there's a loud truck going by too. So, my sisters got back to me extremely quickly, and out of all of the books that I had sent them, they chose The Silver Tracks by Cornelia Funk, which is a book that I've been super excited to get to anyway, and they could not have picked better from the books that I had sent them, and I'm very happy now. It is now time for our third roll, and that is yet again in the 20-point spot, so that's a length prompt. Okay, for roll number 3, we have a length prompt, so I've got my D8. We're gonna roll it and hope that it's nice to us. It's nice to me. You guys don't have to read these books. I don't know why I keep saying like us and we, but we have a 2. So I have to pick a book between 101 and 200 pages. So I'm gonna Google something real quick. and get back to you. Okay, yes, perfect. So according to barnesandnoble.com, Jujutsu Kaisen Volume 18 is 192 pages, which fits this age range. It's a book I would have read anyway because I want to keep up with Jujutsu Kaisen. It is on my readathon TBR, so I'd be reading it then. It just makes things so much easier. This whole, TBR is going so well, and I'm so happy. Okay, and now we're back for our 4th roll of the month. That is in the 10-point spot, so it's another length prompt. Alright, so we have another length prompt for our 4th roll. Let's hope it is as kind to me as it was with the last one. So I've got my D8, roll it. It was not. That's an 8. I rolled an 8, so I have to pick a book between 701 and 800 pages. I don't know if I have any, physical books that fit that. I will be right back. Okay, so I am for sure fudging things on this, but it's my game, and I can fudge the rules if I want to. So for this, I am picking The Hero of Ages by Brandon Sanderson, which is fudging the rules not because it doesn't fit the page range, because it does. It is, if I can get to where the end of the story is, 724 pages, so it fits in the page range. But I'm fudging things because I'm probably going to read this in November. Like I said, I'm filming early, and so I do definitely have time to fit this in the month, but I will be starting it after this comes up, like this video goes, so it counts. It counts towards December. Putting The Hero of Ages on here to make things easy. Wow, I really hope this last book that I pick is, nice to me. And we have arrived at our last roll for the last month of the year. And that is in the 20-point spot, so it's an aesthetic prompt. Okay, friends, and so we've rolled another 20. That's really weird. We've rolled all 20s except for 110. I'm glad that they're not all 20s, because then I would have had to pull from my punishment jar, but it was not the case. We had 110 in there. So now I have another aesthetic prompt to end off this list. So I've got my green bin. We're gonna roll it up. There's one book left from my 9 Eyes TBR that is not on this TBR and that I haven't already read. So it'd be really cool if I can fit that on here. Just putting that out into the universe if the universe wants to keep being nice to me. So we're gonna go with, ooh, I got two. We'll go with this one. I have Cool Tones, which definitely does not fit the book that I was thinking of. Cool Tones are like greens, blues, purples, and the book that I'm thinking of is like brown and orange. So I'm gonna find a different book to fit the prompt of Cool Tones. Alrighty, so for our last pick for my December TBR, I am gonna go with In a Cottage in a Wood by Cass Green, which is mostly this nice cool blue color, but then it's got this shock of yellow, which I think is super fun. I know next to nothing about this book. I know it's like a mystery, thriller, horror kind of book. I bought this at the Dollar Tree because it was $1. Actually, I think it was after the price change, so it would have been $1.25. Regardless, I just thought that the cover was cool and it was cheap, so I bought it. And I'm finally gonna read it. And I think that winter is the best time of year to read something spooky that takes place in the woods, because it's you're trapped inside, it's cold, you don't want to go out, it's got that claustrophobia feel. It might just be me, I don't know. But yes, I wasn't thinking of this book when I sat down to film and was just okay, what books do I want to fit on here? But I'm excited to be reading this. So this is the last book on my official Skee-B-R TBR for 2022. And so here we have our wrap-up. So we have Hero of Ages for a length prompt. We have The Silver Tracks for a friend pick. We have, what is this one? In a Cottage in a Wood for an aesthetic prompt. And we have The Dante Club for a minimal cover. We also have Jujutsu Kaisen 18 going on here for another length prompt. There's a plane going by. I'm so sorry. But this plus Jujutsu Kaisen 18 are the last 5 books on my Skee-B-R TBR. And I'm just gonna power through this plane going by. I'm so sorry. Besides these, there are 2 books that I would like to read in December. The first is The 13th Tale, which is part of my TBR for the readathon that I'm hosting, and so I would love to fit that in. Also, I would like to read The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien because it is the December pick for the Nostalgia Train book club, so it would be great if I could get to that. Overall, I'm pretty happy with these books, and I think I'm going to end out the year with some high notes. So that is all for me, folks. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give it a big thumbs up. You can subscribe to my channel for more content, and that way I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.